to do the same, including my next guest, Congresswoman Karen Bass of California. Thank you for talking with me today.
Thanks for having me on.
I certainly want to get your thoughts on the inauguration, but first things first, do you see these crowds? Tell me your impression, and also, what do you hope these marches will accomplish today? I have to tell you, we expected a lot of people, but Congresswoman, this is unbelievable.
Well, let me just tell you, especially after yesterday, I feel so inspired because this is what it's going to take. It is going to take a massive movement of people who are saying we are not going to allow the type of policies that he's been tweeting about, that he's already put on his website, that he's been talking about for the last 18 months to be implemented. Beginning his administration by saying he wants to take health care away from 25 million people is an unbelievable way to go into this year.
There have been so many comparisons with the crowd that we saw yesterday and then the protest crowds that we're looking at today. As we look at these live pictures right now, we're looking at a live picture from Chicago. Let's talk about the inauguration. What went through your mind as you listened to now President Trump? There were also a lot of split screens capturing the reaction of so many people there, including the Obamas. What was your takeaway from his speech?
Well, I was actually shocked by his speech because it doesn't seem to be that he is leaving the campaign trail. I thought he said nothing new. I thought he pretty much just reiterated a stump speech. It was as though he didn't even understand the significance of what an inaugural speech was supposed to be. So, you know, to see that in comparison with today, yesterday I thought he painted a very dark picture of America. He basically said he's the only one that can save us. And today you see hundreds of thousands of people out. I bet you there are going to be more people out today protesting that there were that attended the inauguration yesterday.
You know, as we look at these live pictures, I was thinking about one of the comments he made yesterday where he said, you know, listen, we all bleed red. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white or what have you. We all bleed, I guess, red blood of patriots or something like that. Why do you think, even though he couched it by saying, you know, it doesn't matter what color you are, it's almost as if he didn't say that because people certainly didn't take it that way?
Well, I don't know how you could take it that way because he still sends all of his dog whistle messages. It was really clear in the speech yesterday that he even wanted to continue the petty fight with Representative John Lewis. He said the same things yesterday in his speech that he had tweeted out. And then if you go to his website, he's sending a very clear message. You know, he removed all of the references to civil rights, to women, to climate change. He talks about how this is going to be a new day with the police, making no mention of police accountability, you know, proposing Jeff Sessions to be the, you know, to be the Attorney General when we know his lack of commitment around civil rights, voting rights. He's sending a very clear message by his appointees. We're going to have a cabinet that's filled with billionaires and generals. One of his first efforts yesterday was an executive order that essentially is going to increase a burden on first-time homeowners, where there was mortgage release, where they could pay a little bit less. You know, these are the signals he's sending, removing health care, raising mortgages. How does that relate to the message that he said yesterday that this is going to be, his administration is going to be for all people?
I don't want to speculate, but I'm wondering, I heard somebody mention earlier today, do you think after that speech there were women who were perhaps, you know, maybe they were on the fence about whether to, you know, to participate in some of these marches? Do you think it was a little bit of a prod?
Well, I absolutely do, but I think he's going to give us prods to do this every single day as soon as he picks up his Twitter account. You know, but I'm just so inspired, and I think it's just really important that today signal the beginning of a mass movement that is going to continue. This is not just going to be about today. This is going to be about this administration, and we are just not going to allow him to do the things he's talked about. He's even talking about immigration raids. You know, I think that this is just so divisive. The campaign was divisive, and everybody understands historically, after a campaign, you come together. He has signaled nothing in that regard.
One final question for you. It seems to be there is this a little bit of a concern that we are so divided right now in this country, and it's not just black and white, it's, you know, across the aisle. Do you, tell me this, do you think there will be a way, or do you see a light in any of this? There's a concern that there are people who are so angry on both sides and people are yelling on both sides that we're not listening to each other and that we can't get anything done. Do you have optimism that in the midst of all of this, eventually we can kind of push this rock up the hill, if you will?
Well, I do have optimism. I always have optimism. And let me just say, he is the president. You know, I will pay more attention to my colleagues in the House and in the Senate, because I do believe that even some of my Republican colleagues, I mean, they might be celebrating the fact that they're in control of both houses, but that also means that they own everything. So everything they've been talking about for the last few years, it's like it's one thing to talk about it rhetorically. It's another thing when you run the whole shebang. And so I do think that there's some trepidation and some concern even on their parts. So maybe there's some possibility for alliances there. It's not all about the president. And Trump is going to find out very soon that there are two houses of Congress that he completely disrespected and disregarded in his inauguration speech. Well, truth of the matter is he doesn't write legislation. He signs legislation. He has to figure out how to work with us. And I'm not so sure that he even understands that. And considering his cabinet and who he's put in the Oval Office, no one has any experience working with government. So I think we're all in for a rocky ride, and we better fasten our seatbelts. But I am completely inspired, encouraged, and optimistic.